Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a totally free course that will show anyone, even complete beginners, how they can start making money on Fiverr. This course is going to be a practical course that even people with no experience or skills can follow to help them learn all of the practical steps they might want to take to develop the skills, figure out what niche they want to sell into, get their first gig up and running, grow their Fiverr business, and ultimately make money selling freelance services on Fiverr. This course is for everyone. So get your notebooks ready and let's get into it. All right, how to make money on Fiverr for beginners. So to kick things off, we're going to talk about what you're going to learn in this course. So in the best case scenario, I'm hoping that once you finish this course, you're able to start selling freelance services through Fiverr. Worst case scenario is you finish this course and maybe you're not yet ready to start selling freelance services on Fiverr, but you have an understanding of the steps required and are confident that you can eventually make it happen. So in both cases, best case and worst case, I think this course should be really helpful for anyone interested in starting to make money on Fiverr. All right, so my background. So this is the slide I use to, help you understand whether or not you might want to listen to me, for anyone who might be skeptical as to whether or not I know what I'm talking about. So here's my background. So I've been a Fiverr seller for the last 3+ years, and I've become a Fiverr Pro seller in 2021. So far, I've earned just about $70,000 on Fiverr, which is crazy. I've been doing Fiverr as a side hustle in my spare time, so it's crazy that it has that much potential to earn money. I've been a content creator for just over 2 years here on YouTube, my blog, Medium, and some other places online, and I focus on helping people all over the world figure out freelancing and sales. Speaking of sales, I've done sales for the past 9 years for both tech and SaaS companies. I've worked for startups, Fortune 500 companies, and mid-sized companies from different places in the world. I'm a big believer that anyone can succeed as a freelancer, and I'm an even bigger believer that value is number one in all client or business interaction. So that's who I am, where I come from, and my validation that maybe I know a little bit about what I'm about to tell you. All right, and then this is just the classic screenshot to validate that I do sell on Fiverr. I've done over 700 orders at this point, and I've made just about 70 grand, which I think is awesome. Okay, so course breakdown today. So I broke this course into 6 parts because I think that's an easy way to break this down and make it easily digestible. So the first is, what is Fiverr? We're going to talk about what Fiverr is, both for people who've heard of it or people who have not heard of Fiverr before. We'll explain that. We're going to talk about what should you sell on Fiverr and how you can go about figuring out what you should sell on Fiverr, because that's an important question for a lot of people. Part 3 is going to talk about learning how to sell based on value, which might just be the most important thing any freelancer learns how to figure out. Part 4 is we're going to talk about creating your first Fiverr gig and how to go about doing that, things that you should look out for. Part 5 is how to get your first Fiverr order, which might be the most exciting for most of you. And Part 6 is how to grow your Fiverr business. Okay, so Part 1, what is Fiverr? So Fiverr is an online marketplace for freelance services. It's also a tool to help businesses outsource work and tasks. It's a tool that helps freelancers and freelance businesses find new clients. So Fiverr's a huge platform, does a lot of marketing. There's a lot of potential for exposure that you might not otherwise get on your own. And it's a platform that helps make managing and automating the back end of a freelancing business, the back end tasks, a whole lot easier. So I also wanted to talk about what Fiverr is not. So Fiverr is not an online marketplace that guarantees success. It just isn't. Fiverr is not a get-rich-quick destination for people who just don't want to work. It's not that either. And Fiverr is not a platform that brings you clients on a silver platter without requiring any selling or energy put into selling your services to those clients. Just wanted to make sure we set expectations here so that we're all on the same page. All right, so how to succeed on Fiverr. So I think it's simple. According to me, if you focus all of your efforts and energy around providing value to your potential clients, that sounds like a recipe for success, in my opinion. And we'll talk about that in a little bit greater detail in the section about learning how to sell based on value. So stick around till that part. All right, part 2. What should you sell on Fiverr? So this is a question I get asked a lot. And that really depends on you. You might be thinking, Mike, I'm here because I'm new. I don't really know. Just give me the answer. Well, the short answer is that nobody can tell you what you should sell on Fiverr. Seriously. Selling freelance services on Fiverr is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Anyone seriously considering taking a stab at Fiverr needs to decide what they want to sell and what they can see themselves being okay with doing for the coming weeks, months, and potentially years, right? So don't put that decision out to anyone else. Ultimately, it's up to you. You're going to be doing the work. You're going to be putting in the time. You're going to be putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, and you're going to be the one getting paid. So really think about what you want to sell, and it's up to you to figure that out. But here are some things that you can consider that might help make that decision a whole lot easier. So I've separated this page into internal factors you might want to consider when deciding what to sell on Fiverr and external factors. So I'll go through the list of internal factors first, and then we'll talk about the external factors. So things like, what are you already good at? If you're odds are an adult, you have some sort of a skill that you've acquired through business or interactions with other people. Try to think about what you're already good at. What past work or life experience do you have? Think about some of the things you're interested in. What is your superpower? If someone were to ask your friends, colleagues, or people who know you, what's the one thing they would say, hey, this person is especially good at? What are you willing to learn? So that's important too, because a lot of freelancers getting started might want to get started doing something they're not already proficient at. You can learn how to do new things. Can you afford to take courses? So if you want to learn new things, can you afford to go the route of taking courses to learn them? Alternatively, if you don't want to spend the money to learn new things, do you have the time and energy to find and learn new information using free resources? Because there's a lot of free resources to help you learn new things. This YouTube channel being a prime example. And lastly, last internal thing you should think about is, did you study in school? And if you did, what did you study in? That could help you decide the path to go as well. Okay, so going down to the external factors, the first one is, what services are in high demand, right? So let's not kid ourselves here. If you want to get into freelancing, you want to sell stuff to people. Typically, things that are in demand sell well. So you might want to think about what types of services are in high demand. What type of services are ultra specialized? Think about what types of services have a low demand but are high pay because they're really hard to do and there's only a few people who can do them. You might want to think about which services are low value, services that require a low skill and command a low price because of that. Think about what are the opportunities for you to differentiate yourself based on what other people are doing. Where are your potential clients located? That's an important one, as well as what language do they speak? Can you even communicate with them? Another good one is to think about whether there are skill or specific experience requirements for whatever type of service you want to offer. That's important to know too. And most importantly of all of these points is, what do potential clients want? Because ultimately we're catering to the wants of our clients, right? So these are some internal and external factors you can consider to help make the decision of what you're going to sell a whole lot easier. And actually think about it, right? This isn't something that you should, read that one slide in this video and say, oh, I know what it is. You're going to embark on a journey where you're going to learn, you're going to work with people, you're going to provide value. You're going to make money from this, right? Spend some time actually thinking about all of those internal factors, all of the external factors, and any factors I haven't listed here that might be important to you to make the best decision for what you want to offer, because you're the person who's going to be doing this. You want to make sure that whatever you decide is right for you. So just a couple facts here to help put things in perspective. So fact, succeeding on Fiverr is all about your ability to connect the dots between your skills, your experience, and your willingness to put in the work with what the client wants. It's up to you as a freelancer to show the clients how you can connect your abilities with what they want. That's what it's all about. Fiction. Succeeding on Fiverr is all about you getting what you want. That's the reality. I know all of us, everyone watching this video wants to make money on Fiverr. But if you want to succeed on Fiverr, you need to start getting good at the first thing on this list. You really need to focus on how you can tell your story and show potential clients how your skills, your experience, and your work ethic can help get them what they want. If you're able to do that, in turn, you will get what you want, which is to make money and find some success and fulfillment. So this might be a great slide to screenshot and stick over your desk, because I feel like a lot of us forget this one from time to time, but it's important. All right, so how do you decide on what to do if you're a total beginner? So I hope the last couple of slides have started getting you thinking, but here's a short list to give you some practical steps you can follow to help you make the final decision on what types of services you want to sell. So the first is just spend some time browsing the different types of services that are already on Fiverr, right? There's millions of freelancers already succeeding on Fiverr. Take a look at what some other people are doing and see if it gives you any inspiration about what you might want to do. You could also do a bit of research on different industries, right? Read up on industry statistics, hiring trends from large companies, and look into any specializations that you might be interested in that could be converted into some profitable gigs on Fiverr. This is a huge one. Use common sense. When you're thinking about what you want to sell, think about it. Does it make sense to you? An example I give here is, does a particular service look like it's going to be in demand for the long term, or is it just trending because of current world events? You want to make sure you're investing your time into doing something that's going to have value and be a viable business for, years to come. Base your decision on what you're good at or what you're willing to put in the work to get good at. So this one is huge. I talk to so many freelancers from all over the world who say, Mike, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z, and I don't want to learn how to do X, Y, and Z. Well, using common sense, how can you reasonably expect to do it if you don't want to do it, right? Think about what you're already good at or what you're willing to get good at. That'll help you make the decision as well. And then number 5 is, don't tell people to give you the answer to your search. We talked about this before. Uncover it for yourself and then take a leap of faith and give it a shot, because the best option for someone else might not be the best option for you. This one is so important. Everyone wants to just have the answer given to them. But the reality is, you're going to be the one putting in the work. You're going to be the one getting paid. You need to make that decision, right? You can use YouTube channels like mine and other resources online to give you ideas to help inspire you to find the decision that's right for you. But ultimately, what you sell on Fiverr is up to you. So you need to make that decision for yourself. And what if you don't have any skills? Well, on this slide, I just listed a couple ways that you can get some skills. Paid options like Udemy, Skillshare, Coursera are great for learning very specific skill sets. You can use YouTube, and I put a picture of myself there because there's a lot of free resources on YouTube to help you learn stuff, right? If you don't have the skills, you really got to learn them. Here are just a couple of options. You can do the university route as well. You can learn from work experience. It's really up to you, but here's some inspiration if you need to learn the skills, and I'll include links in the description. But most importantly is practice. You can take a course, right? A weekend course, a 3-month course, a 3-year course. But if you don't continually practice and work on improving those skills, it's going to be hard for you to rise to the top, right? Because you're going to be competing against people who are practicing their skill, who are making sure that they're experts and the best of the best. So if you want to sell something on Fiverr, learn the skill and then practice the skill until you are a master at it. That'll make selling it that much easier. Trust me. All right, so part 3, learning to sell based on value. So this is a topic that I am probably going to go into way deeper in many more YouTube videos. But this topic, selling on value, is what's going to help you make more money on Fiverr. It's going to help you move away from selling $5 orders and get to the point of maybe selling $500 orders. Value is a key topic that any successful salesperson taps into to make sure they're getting the most for their services or their time. So, with that being said, why do some freelancers fail? Like before, it's simple according to me. People fail because they're not focused on the value they can provide to their potential clients. I think it's simple, and I'll explain why, but putting value and value for your clients at the front and center of everything you do is going to be the best habit to get into to ensure success as a freelancer. So what does value look like? Well, I break it down into two categories, right? You can provide value by finding out ways that you can provide business gains to your customers, or by helping them solve business pains that they're experiencing. These are just a couple to give you an idea of what I mean, but for the gains category, you can help them increase productivity. You can help them complete important projects. You can help them make more money. That's the most obvious one. You can help them expand their team, and you can ultimately help their company grow. Those are all business positive things you can help add to a business by offering value. Some of the pains you can help them solve is you can help them save money by hiring you versus hiring an employee of the same skill set. Because hiring an employee, they have to pay an annual salary. Hiring you, they might just have to pay you for the project. You can help them be more productive by saving the time it would have taken for them to do it themselves internally. You can help resolve operational inefficiencies they might be experiencing. And generally, you can help them solve problems that are a real thorn in their side at their organization. So are you focused on their needs, right? We listed here that here are some business gains you can focus on, or solving pains, but ultimately it boils down to whether or not you're focused on their needs. If you're focused on their needs, it'll be easier for you to articulate how you can offer them value. So here are some quick tips that you can follow to help you sell on value. And these are just a couple to kind of get the juices flowing and help you get in the mindset of thinking about selling on value. Don't worry, I'll make more videos about this topic in the near future. So the first thing you can do is always make sure you're focused on how you can help your client. That should be front and center. Obviously you want to make money, but the client needs to feel like you're focused on them. That's what's going to, help them get to the point of hiring you. The second thing you can do, and this is going to sound really counterintuitive for a lot of people, is don't focus too much on price or pitching your services early on. It really isn't important at all until you've built trust with them. Really, don't focus on price. That'll go in one ear, out the other. You need to focus on how you can help them first before you start focusing on price. The third thing you can do to sell on value is to ask questions, a lot of questions before they place the order, while you're doing the order, when you're completing the order, to ensure you fully understand their business and their business needs. That's going to be important. The fourth thing you can do is, based on the answers to your questions, show them how you might be able to help. So if you're asking questions about what they need help with, how their business operates, or some of the pains or things they're looking to improve on at their business, when they're giving you these answers, reiterate those answers and connect the dots with them, showing the customer, oh yeah, you want to increase revenue by doing this type of digital marketing campaign? Here's how I can help you do that digital marketing campaign. Or, oh, your current logo sucks? Well, I've been designing logos for companies like yours for 10 years. Here's how I can help you do X, Y, and Z. Use the questions you're asking them to help you illustrate how you can help them with your services. That's really going to help you focus on the value you can provide them. And lastly, give them the feeling at every step of the process that your priority is to help them versus just quickly getting them to order. This is a huge one, right? I talk to so many Fiverr sellers, and I've read Fiverr conversations between buyers and sellers, and a lot of sellers are so excited to get the order that they give this vibe off to the client that's kind of a turnoff, right? the client doesn't want to feel like you're just trying to get their money. They want to feel like you want to help them, and then they'll give you their money. So use these 5 tips. If you have questions about these, leave them in the comments section. Happy to answer them. But these are 5 really easy things you can start incorporating into your Fiverr business today to help you start making more money and selling based on value. And here's one game-changing tip that all of you should write down for selling on value. This tip alone will help people make a way more money, and it's going to, blow some of your minds because it's going to be a surprise for a lot of people. And it is that discounting your services might not help you win their deal. In some cases, it might have the opposite effect. Take that in. Offering a discount might hurt your chances of getting the deal. What do I mean by that? Well, we're talking about selling on value. If you're focused on discounting and you're treating your services like a flea market, like it's just a constant negotiation, you can negotiate anything, they're going to perceive you as a low value offering. They're going to look at you as a bargain basement seller, and they are going to nail you in the negotiation. So just kind of delay that. Offering volume discounts is fine. Repeat buyers getting discounts is fine, but don't lead with discounting. So many sellers, their first thing they say is, I'll give you the best price. I'll do it for $5 or 1-day delivery. I'll be the cheapest. If you focus on selling on value, if you ask them questions, if you show them that you care about their business, if you show them that you're the best person for the job, if you show them that you can help them solve some pain points they're having or provide real business gains, they won't even care about the discount, and they'll pay you your price because the value outweighs the small-time discount that you might be offering them. Value is what's going to get you big deals. So if you're someone who falls into the category of instantly going the route of, hey, I'll give you a discount, hey, I'll give you the best price, take a step back. Try not doing that as often. Try focusing on value, and you'll be surprised. People are going to start placing orders with you without asking for a discount. And, use me as a testimonial. I pretty much don't discount unless I have a history with you, unless you're placing some abnormally large order, or unless there's reason to after I've exhausted all other avenues of winning the deal. Discount is a last resort for me, and honestly, in a lot of cases, I'll turn down an order if they're asking for too big of a discount, and sometimes that type of a power move will get them to hire you anyways because they respect you. They say, hey, you know what? I understand this person prides himself on their work, and as long as you've taken all the steps to try to sell on value before getting to this point, they might place the order with you anyways. So if you have questions on this, because this is a topic that salespeople in every industry are constantly battling with, leave it in the comments. Happy to give you some more insight. All right, part 4, creating your first Fiverr gig. So I have some tutorials of this on the channel as well, but I'm going to do a little bit of a breakdown to make it really, really easy for everyone. So before you create your gig, first, make sure that you, understand what Fiverr is. So if you're new to Fiverr, make sure you go back, read the slides on what Fiverr is, what's Fiverr all about, what's its purpose. You got to understand what you're getting yourself into. B is you should have already decided what services you're going to sell. If you haven't already, before you create your gig, go back, review the slides, do the little thought exercises, think about the factors of what you might want to sell, and really decide what you want to do and have a clear idea of what service you want to specialize in. And C is make sure that you've spent some time about thinking about how you can sell on value and putting your clients' needs first. Do all this before you create your gig, because these are the things that are going to help ensure you're on the right path to being a successful Fiverr seller. Once you've done that, you can start creating your gig, and you're going to want to start out with the gig title. So gig title is important. It's what helps your gig appear in search, and it's also one of the first things potential buyers see. So it's really important that you spend some time thinking about this. So a solid gig title includes commonly searched keywords. So keywords are words that people might type into Fiverr search to help them find your services. If you can think about what types of keywords people are searching and put that in your title, it helps increase the chances that your gig will appear in their search, which is good. A solid gig title also includes keyword phrases that a buyer might search for. So there's keywords, which are just individual words, but there are also phrases. Like, for example, in this gig I show you here, I will write YouTube sponsorship emails. People who are looking for this might type in YouTube sponsorship emails. That's a keyword phrase, and I'm trying to target that one in my title. A gig title should be really clear and easy to understand. That's obvious. And it shouldn't be too long. You don't want it to get cut off. So let me know if you have any questions about this, but that's basically what makes up a solid gig title. Now moving down, next is your gig image. So your gig image shows up in Fiverr search as a little thumbnail, but also when they click into your gig, for the people maybe a little too lazy to thoroughly read your description, this is an opportunity to give them some information about your service. So in my opinion, a solid gig image should include a picture of you, because people like doing business with people and it helps you stand out. It should, try to repeat your gig title or what your gig's about somewhere in the image. So you'll see I put YouTube sponsorship emails in this gig image to really hammer home that that's what this gig is about. It should also be clear and easy to understand. And it should also list some key points about your gig, right? Because a lot of people don't take the time to thoroughly read your description. They might not take the time to message you. So use this as an opportunity to do some more explaining to them about what your gig's about, and it might help influence them to make an order. Next is your gig description. So a gig description is probably the first or second most important thing behind the gig title, right? So a solid gig description is thoughtful. It should clearly describe your services, why your clients should hire you, and motivates them to take action on hiring you, right? Like, this is where you're selling yourself. It should obviously be free of typos and spelling errors. It should also include keywords, right? Because, like in most search engines, Fiverr is probably scraping your description as well. And the keywords you use here are going to help it appear in certain searches, which is really important. But when it comes to keywords, you should not stuff it with keywords, right? Keywords must flow naturally in the text. So I've taken a course on Coursera about search engine optimization. And, a lot of people on Fiverr do this. They'll just put a huge block of keywords. It's just mumbo jumbo, a bunch of different words, thinking that that'll help them, but some search engines actually penalize you for doing that. So if you're going to use keywords in your description, work it into the text, right? Tell a story with this description and insert the keywords in a way that makes sense. It's an art to do, but trust me, it will help. Next is your gig FAQ. So I don't see every seller setting up an FAQ, but it's an essential part of your Fiverr business. A good FAQ should address any potential questions or concerns that the client may have before ordering that is not already outlined in the description. This is a big one. It should clearly outline your revision policy. Having your revision policy clearly outlined here will help avoid situations where you're just doing endless revisions for a client that is just taking advantage of you. And I know a lot of you fall into this trap. Should also clearly outline what's included that might not be clear in the description. And generally, it should clarify any other potential ambiguities to ensure that there are no surprises after someone places your order. Your gig FAQ is meant to provide additional information, but also to protect you in situations where your buyer might want something that's not included in your gig. Next is gig packages, right? So your gig package pretty obviously should outline what's included in your gig. And if you're using the 3 packages in one, which I recommend, try to bake in discounts, either based on volume of the amount of deliverables or the amount of spend they're spending with you as the package increases. It's a way to build in discounts that are predefined that you don't have to negotiate on if you do it correctly. And make it as easy as possible for the client to place an order without the need for them to talk to you and customize the order. So I've built my gigs in a way where either through my gig packages or through my gig extras, more or less like 90% plus of my clients can just order what they want from there and don't even need to speak with me. That's like a perfect world. You should try to do something like that as well. All right, so part 5, how to get your first order on Fiverr, the moment we've all been waiting for. So how do you do it? Might sound like, you just wait and see, but I'm going to give you some actual actionable things that you can do that will help speed up the amount of time to get your first order. So here are the different ways you can get an order. Number 1 is what most people do. You've done a good job creating your gig with SEO and keywords in mind, and buyers find it organically in Fiverr search and place an order. This is the best, this is the dream, this is what we all want, but I'm gonna be real with you, this doesn't always happen as fast as we would like when we're just starting out. So I've included 2 other ways you can get orders that might be really helpful for you. The first is, you've spent some time responding to Fiverr buyer requests and you get buyers to accept your proposals that way. This is a bit more time consuming, obviously, but it's a great option available to everyone who starts on Fiverr. And number 3, this is probably the most critical to growing from just like a small-time freelancer to a full-fledged profitable business, is by being proactive. Go off Fiverr, find companies on your own that you think would be a good fit for your services and contact them via email or phone and pitch them your services on Fiverr. Bring them to Fiverr, say, I offer my services through Fiverr, and sell them on your services. This seems hard, and trust me, it is the hardest of the 3, but it's the best way and the most effective way to build a solid freelancing business that will withstand the test of time. This is basically how other businesses get business. They go out and get the business. So if you can combine these 3 different strategies to get an order and practice them and don't give up and don't be discouraged when people turn you down, that's how you're going to get your first, second, third, 100th order. Trust me, give it a shot. Let me know if you have any questions about it down below. So part 6, how to grow your Fiverr business. So the first thing you can do is offer multiple gigs and services. This is just a screenshot of, my Fiverr profile. I'm at the point where I think I have 10 different gigs up. Once you've gotten the ball rolling with your first gig and you kind of got the hang of selling on Fiverr, you can offer multiple gigs, related gigs for different but similar services related to what you do. That's a great way to kind of cast a wider net on Fiverr and bring in more business. You can also learn new skills to sell. So I get this question a lot. People are like, Mike, I'm a graphic designer. Can I also be a copywriter? Of course you can. The only thing you need to make sure you do is you need to make sure you have the skills to do both really well before you do it, because you don't want to get bad ratings and it tarnishes your profile. So you can use these sites, YouTube, whatever, to learn new skills, practice the new skills, and expand your reach on Fiverr. It's a great strategy to grow your business over time. And you can also work on optimizing your business, right? So growing your Fiverr business doesn't necessarily mean just offering more gigs and making more money. It could also mean finding ways to save time so that you're making more money for the time spent doing work on Fiverr. So I just mentioned that. Find ways to save time, whether that be streamlining your workflow, your delivery process, your revision process, whatever it is. Thinking about ways that you can improve on your back-end process will help make you more money. You can also figure out what types of gig extras you can offer that will help increase your average order value. And this is something that I've focused on a lot over the years. I've tried to identify gig extras that offer a lot of value for the client, but don't necessarily mean I have to do a lot more work. It's been hugely successful. And people love it. Like, one thing I do is, obviously you can offer expedited delivery. Technically, you're not doing more work, you're delivering it faster. Obviously, if you have a lot of orders in the queue, it may cause you to have to move deadlines around and work faster, but that's a great one for increasing order value. And I would say 1 out of 10 orders for me does expedite, and that almost doubles my order value. You could also focus on building long-term relationships with repeat clients. This is a big one. If you find that people are ordering from you 2, 3, 4 times, try to figure out a way to lock them down long term. How can you make yourself a valuable asset at their business? Or maybe it just means having the conversation with them, like, hey, listen, I've loved working with you. How do we make this, continue? I want to keep working with you. A lot of people are going to respect that, and you might get some long-term contracts, which could really help your business grow. And you could also focus on improving your offering, learning new skills, and also leveling up yourself on Fiverr and becoming a pro seller. It's something I did last year. It increases the bottom line. Like, your gigs have to be a minimum of $100 per gig, but it puts you in this different echelon of seller where there's this perception of more quality. You're probably going to have to take more care in your orders, but that's just one of the things you can do to continue to grow your business. So what's next? Honestly, at this point, it's up to you. You got to find the time to do the things you need to do to get your Fiverr gigs up and running, and you got to stick with it. You got to try to keep improving. And I don't know if you kind of got the theme I was hinting at in this video, but if you can build your business around the client and focusing on how you can provide value to them, you're going to be successful a lot faster than someone who doesn't. So that's it for the tutorial part of this video. I really hope this was helpful. So what do you think? Are you feeling more confident in your abilities to get started as a freelancer on Fiverr? If you are, but you still have some questions, let me know in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer all of them. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, cheers.